Let's just start with this because it hits right where it hurts. You ever feel stuck? Like you're just running the same failed script over and over and over again? Well, listen to this. You're not trapped by your circumstances. You're a prisoner of your own automated responses. So, what we're doing today is a debrief. We're cracking open a recently declassified field manual called the Refit Protocols. Now, think of this less like a book and more like an engineering guide, a set of blueprints for debugging and repairing the most complex piece of machinery on the planet, your own human operating system. Now, the central problem this manual tackles is something it calls the drift. Okay, picture this. Your system is infected with these microscopic nanobots of old habits. These are patterns you inherited from family, from culture, from your own past. And they are the reason your internal software keeps crashing, why you feel stuck in this loop of automated failure. And this schematic just nails the whole problem. See, this isn't about a lack of knowledge. We all live on that cliff on the left, knowing. We know what we should do, but there's this massive chasm between knowing and actually doing. This manual isn't about giving you more information. No, it's the actual engineering blueprint for the bridge that gets you across. It's how you escape the prison of knowing and get to the freedom of doing. And let's be absolutely clear about something. This is not another self-help book that's going to collect dust on your shelf. The author, who goes by The Architect, he frames this as your initial equipment issue. This is the toolkit, the essential gear that you should have been given from day one, especially if you consider yourself an agent in what he calls the resistance. So here's the mission overview. This amazing sketchnote lays out the first 6 protocols. And look how they're presented, like engineering blueprints, what he calls Joe style. We're talking about choosing your soil, breaking ground, the quicksand principle, building a fortress. This isn't some abstract theory, you know? These are literal schematics for immediate repairs. We're going to do a deep dive into 2 of the protocols that are, frankly, game changers. And we're starting with a core principle that pretty much flips everything you've ever been told on its head. Stop. Struggling. This is Protocol 03, the Quicksand principle. And it basically says that trying harder is the problem, not the solution. This log entry from an agent in the field, wow, it says it all. The real fight isn't against laziness or lack of motivation. It's against our own internal adrenoguards. You know, those panicky parts of us that just scream for control. Procrastination, anger, anxiety. So often, they're just the wreckage from a high-speed collision with our own desperate need to be in charge. And right here, you can see the quicksand principle in action. On the left, that's what happens when we fight. The struggling, the willpower, all that white-knuckling, it actually increases the vacuum pressure and you sink faster. But look at the right. That is the radical alternative. Floating. When you strategically yield, you disperse your weight and you align with what the manual calls grace physics. You actually position yourself for rescue. So how do you actually do this? Well, the manual gives you a clear tactical procedure. Step 1, detect that urge to struggle, to fix it yourself. Step 2, pause the fight. Just stop. 3, align with grace physics. That means you yield. And finally, number 4, release the need to be your own rescuer. You let go of trying to pull yourself out by your own bootstraps. Okay, let's move on to the second key tactic, and you'll see how these build on each other. If floating is about surrendering the fight, this next one is about seizing control at the most critical moment possible. This is Protocol 05, the choice point, and it is all about how you reclaim the bridge of your own mind. I mean, this schematic looks like the control panel of a starship, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's the command center for your mind. So every time an external trigger hits, a stressful email, someone cuts you off in traffic, an alarm goes off. You are now at a choice point, and you can either slam that big red easy button for automated reaction, or you can engage the manual override, the conscious response. And how much time do you get to make that choice? Half a second. That's it. 0.5 seconds. It is an incredibly brief window, but inside that tiny gap is all of your power. It's where you reclaim what the manual brilliantly calls your responsibility. So the choice really boils down to these 2 paths. The automated reaction, that's the victim path. You're just a passenger. You believe outside forces are in control. It feels easier, but it leads to the death of your personal agency. The conscious response, though, that's the architect path. Yeah, it's an uphill climb. It takes effort, but you are the pilot at the controls with absolute authority over your response. So how do you actually grab that half second? With a beautifully simple tactic, the 3-second pause. The moment you sense that trigger coming in, you just initiate a 3-second pause. That's it. And in those 3 seconds, the passenger sits down and the architect, the real you, takes the wheel. And then, only then, do you choose your response deliberately. So, when you combine these protocols, the strategic stillness of floating and the tactical power of the pause, what you get is a whole new mission directive. The entire goal of your refit is to shift your identity from being just a responder to becoming the leader of your own life. And Protocol 06 gives us this absolutely perfect metaphor. The question is, are you a thermometer? Just passively reflecting the temperature of whatever room you're in, the anxiety, the stress, the drama around you, or are you a thermostat, actively, deliberately setting the temperature of your own internal world, and by extension, your external one? Ultimately, the mission is an identity shift. It's about taking off the heavy, exhausting armor of the victor, the one who's totally performance-based, who always has to win, always has to be in control, and instead, you put on the freedom of being a steward, who is simply faithful to their own choices, no matter what the outcome is. And this declaration from the manual, it just crystallizes the whole thing. It's a commitment, a vow. I will not give my power away to circumstances I cannot control. I take full responsibility for the one thing I can, my response. That's it. That's the whole game. So the old script, the one that runs on autopilot, it can be deleted. The system can be refit. Which leaves us with the one question this manual is really asking you. The old script is gone. Who's holding the blueprints now?
The automated script is broken. It's time to install the upgrade. We have declassified the full manual, including the blueprints and the sketchnotes. It is available now at refit.whatsbetter.today. Enter your coordinates and we will deploy the supply drop directly to your inbox. You are not a thermometer, you are the architect. End of line.